Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are continuing with the next positions based on the queen versus pawn on 7th rank. So in the last lesson we saw that the queen is able to win against the any center pawn, okay, and today we will see when it can win against the rook pawn. So we saw that if the king is far away, it was on b8 in the previous position, so white was not able to win. So let us understand the king should be in how much area to be able to win against the rook pawn. So first I will tell you and show you the winning zone, then I will show you how to get the winning zone also. So let us understand. See, this is the quarter of the board. Okay, the pawn is queening here, so this is the quarter of the board, 1/4 of the board. So we extend one file, okay, one file we will extend and we will extend one rank. So we will get this much area, okay. And now this corner square we will remove from that. So what we will get from a5 to d5, d5 to e4 and e4 to e1. Okay, that is for the pawn on a2. Similarly, if the pawn is on h2, then this is the area from h5 to e5, e5 to d4, d4 to d1. So this is the winning zone. It means that the white king has to win this area, okay, so that it can win against the rook pawn. So we will see both positions. We will take this corner and we will take this edge of the winning zone. Okay. Acha, now let us understand what is the logic. See, the king needs to reach here in two moves. So any square from where king reaches here in two moves. So see, from here 1 and 2, from here 1 and 2, from here 1 and 2, from here 1 and 2. But from e5 it cannot reach here in two moves. Okay, and from any square which can control c2 in one move. So from here see, it can go to d3 and control c2. From here it can go to d2 and control c2. From e1 it can go to d2 and control c2 in one move. So that is another way to remember if we forget the winning zone. So we can remember in any of the ways. Now let's get started and see the actual winning procedure. Firstly, many people start with the check from b4, okay, but the logic is we need the queen on the 7th rank, okay. So that is our second rank, opponent's 7th rank. So we can play queen f2 check as well. Just for showing you the normal technique, I will do the move qb4. Then he will hide king a1. Now we cannot bring the king. So queen c3 check. King moves to b1. Now what we will do? Again we know that we cannot bring the king near because a1 queen and the queen gets attacked. So queen will improve itself by giving checks. Queen check, king b2. If the king comes to c2, even queen a1 wins. Okay. So now queen d2 check. King has to go to b1, and this position, see, we got the queen on the 2nd rank. Okay. Now there is a very, what we can say, wonderful technique. King comes to b4, we allow the pawn to become queen. So after the pawn becomes queen on a1, it looks like the position is equal, but white plays the move kb3, and this is the zugzwang. See, materially the position is equal. Black queen is got cornered in the position. It has no good place. And now white is immediately threatening qc2 mate, qd1 mate, qe1 mate, 3 mates. And if the queen goes away anywhere, okay, then again we have qd1 mate or qc2, king a1, qa2 mate. Okay. And the only try, queen c3 check. Okay, if queen takes c3, there will be stalemate. But just kc3, king moves to a1 and queen b2 mate. Okay. So if the king is on a5, this is how we win. Let's take the king on e1 and see how to win. Now let's take the king to the other edge of the winning zone. Okay. This time what we want to just get control of the c2 square. So what happens? We can again start qb4 check. King goes a1, queen c3 check. King comes to b1, and we see that we have created a position where the king cannot move. Okay. So such a position is usually termed as semi stalemate. means other than king only one piece is able to move. Okay, that is called semi-stalemate, means half stalemate, like king has no place to move. So now white plays king to d2, even kd1 works. Okay, so if this king was on e4, then it would have come to d3. And now if black queens the pawn, a1 equal to queen, then queen c2 is checkmate. Okay, it's as simple as that. Let's see, black can try some other things. Now seeing the king on d2, black can consider a1 equal to knight. But do note that once the pawn has become a knight, the position is as it is losing. Queen versus knight is lost. And here there are again many ways. Okay, we can go for the queen check to b4, forcing the king to the a2 square. And now again the king moves to c3, not c1, because he will do nb3 check. Okay, so now what happens when the king is diagonally one step away from the knight? So knight requires lot of moves to give check. Okay, so now what happens? Wherever the knight moves other than b3, say knight c2, then qb2 mates. King doesn't have any move. So again semi-stalemate. So the knight has to move nb3, qb3 check, ka1 and qb2 mates. Okay, so this is all about the winning zone for the pawn on a2. So let me show you one more small example to see the king is out of the winning zone in this position. Okay, so sometimes there are such cases where it looks as if there is no scope, but this one is very simple. White played king c5 in the game and queen was giving check. So what has happened? Because of this check, the king has managed to come into the winning zone. And now after the move king c2, white played queen e5, controlling the a1 square. So king went to b1, and now as we learned the technique, we'll give check, improve the queen to the 7th rank or the 2nd rank for us, and just white can bring the king, c4. Now if a1 is queen, then we again get that same position, king to b3, and the position is winning. And if he makes knight, let's say a1 knight, then the king comes to c3, again getting us to the winning position as discussed just now. Okay, so what I have done is I have just taken the theoretical positions into account. Later on what we will do some positions where the race of pawn actually will happen, and we will have such kind of scenario. Means king and queen versus queen will be there, and we will now have to learn the bishop's pawn case as well. So let us do one position of bishop's pawn, because bishop pawn has many theoretical positions which we have to know. So we will try to cover one more position of the bishop pawn just now. Let's look at the case of bishop pawn. Now the bishop pawn is also slightly tricky. We can say more trickier than the rook pawn. Okay, why? Now see, firstly we have to know the theory with the king on the shorter side of the bishop pawn, and then we have to know also the king can be on the longer side of the d2 pawn. First let us see by normal means, even if the king is on a7, whether it is possible to win. Let's assume this king is on a7, then the normal procedure, qb4 check. Okay, king goes to a1, king will never come in front of the pawn, so white king will come closer. Now the same technique, queen c3 check, kb1, qb3 check. Now it looks like after kc1 the king comes to b4 and it wins very easily. But here there is a small tactical trick again. Black plays king a1, and now queen cannot take the pawn on c2 because of stalemate. So it looks like this position is very easily drawn now. But with the king on a5, there are some tricks, and white can play for a win over here. Let's see what are his chances. So now he has to again improve his queen position and try to pin this pawn and gain a tempo. Let's see how. Queen gives check from c3, forcing kb1. King has to support the pawn. Now see, if queen e1 check, then c1 queen simply. So queen pins the pawn. Queen is trying to use its power to the fullest. Now see, forced kb2. Also there is a thing, we can also consider the move ka1 over here, b2. Now this queen if comes to d2, then kb1, kb4, then c1 queen attacks the queen. So after queen e2 now, the king has three options actually. Okay, it can go to B1, A1, okay, and B3, okay. But the problem with B3 is queen comes to D2, king has to come back to B2 and king B4. The pawn is pinned and just black has lost the move. So the position will be easily winning. Problem with A3 is also similar. See, we cannot take queen C2 because of stalemate, but we can again do QD2. So the move KB1 and KA1 are necessary, and out of which only one is correct. See, if the king comes to B1, now there is a same technique which we discussed before. King comes to B4, okay, pawn becomes queen. That is why the queen was played on E2, so that C1 queen doesn't attack the queen. C1 queen. Now again comes KB3, and we see that because of this queen placing, queen is unable to give check from E3, can't give check from C2, can't give check from B2, queen A3, king A3 is not a stalemate, same queen C3, KC3 is not a stalemate. So what will happen now? White simply threatens queen A2 mate, okay, and if the queen goes away, then there is QD1 or D3 check. So queen can't keep control of C2, A2 and D1, all the squares at the same time. So if the queen moves to F4, then queen C2 and queen A2 mate, okay, or queen A2 or queen C2 mate. So there are many ways of doing checkmate over there. Even queen D3 wins, okay. So this is winning for white. So in this position, the only move is king A1. And what is the idea now? Same after the move KB4, okay, C1 becomes queen, and now after KB3, see the position is similar, but the king which has gone on A1 has now kept the B1 square vacant. So the only move QB1 check, king has to go to A3, QC1 check, king will now again go to B3, and black can repeat by B1 and C1 check. This is the only option black has, but that's enough for a draw. So this was about the bishop pawn. So what we learned, in the case of bishop pawn, the winning zone, this A5, D5, E4 to E1 doesn't work. The winning zone will be even shorter. Okay, so king has to be even more closer. So that we will be doing in the next lesson. Okay, I hope you are enjoying the lessons. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.